Alright, ladies and gentlemen, it has been a hell of a long time since I've been back, but there's a lot of action happening in the transfer market finally. It took quite a while to get things going, so I wanted to kind of give a little review of what we've done so far, what we're looking at, what types of things I personally would like to see versus what we've done, and kind of go from there. What I'll do is I'll kind of start from the back, move all the way to the front, and we'll do a little review and give me your thoughts at the end. If you are watching and staying with me here, please give a like and subscribe. It does help me out a little bit, and I'm trying to get back into staying busy more consistently with this type of thing. So thank everybody for watching, whoever's out there. Okay, so we'll start back at goalie. There's really nothing happening here. I believe we did renew Mirante just as a backup, so we'll be kind of keeping our traditional core together. All we really need is Mike Maignan. He is fantastic, and in my opinion, the best goalkeeper in Serie A. And probably one of the top, if not the top goalie in the world. I'm really unsure of who's that much better than him. So I'm super confident in Mike Maignan going forward. Very happy and proud to have him as our goalkeeper. And although I was a Donnarumma fan, and it was nice that he came from our academy, I objectively think that Maignan is actually better. So, nothing doing there. Let's move to the back line. There has been some decent drama here as far as our very first target all the way back almost a year ago was Sven Botman. Now, my thoughts on Sven Botman is that he has a lot of potential. I think he's a quite good defender. I don't necessarily know if he was worth the 30 million. Pretty close though, most likely. It sounds like it's not a very unfair price for him. Would have liked to see it for less, but after all of the drama, everything was said and done, the ownership change that we have had has really, in my opinion, been awful for us. I would have liked to see Elliott fully sell the club to somebody different. I can't stand that they've remained a portion. As everybody knows, I am not an Elliott fan at all whatsoever. And I'll give a quick aside before I go into this because it will foreshadow a lot of the things I will say is Elliott did not bring us the Scudetto. They hindered us by making sure that we didn't spend a lot. They helped our books, which is fine from a financial point of view to at least, all right, things are back on track. However, they didn't really spend when they needed to. Maldini had to work some magic with Sandro Tonali just to bring him in. Otherwise, honestly, if it was even 2 to 3 million more, we probably would have not bought him and not even ended up with Sandro Tonali, who in my opinion is going to be the top Italian talent of this current generation. So it just goes to show that they're pretty dang stingy. We know that. Okay, they've gotten the books, organized. However, it's time to budge a little bit. I mean, we've lost Romagnoli, Kessié, Çalhanoğlu, and Donnarumma for free. Now, people can celebrate this as getting their wages off the books, but in the end, it's poor management. We had big assets that we let go for free. If it happens with one, maybe two of them, I get it. These things happen. But all four, that's such a loss of money. It's crazy. And these aren't low-value players. Çalhanoğlu is probably anywhere minimally from 15 to 20 up to 30, 40 or plus based on how he's playing. Donnarumma was around 50 plus to 60 at the time. Even if you get less than that or 40 or less, it's still well worth it. Romagnoli, probably 20 or so. It's just not a great time. And I guess Kessié, probably 50 or so as well. He's one of the top midfielders in the world at the time. So they have really mismanaged a lot of our sales, mismanaged a lot of the money coming in and out. And I'm not excited about what's going forward because we've missed out on some targets, which I'll now get into. So back to the Botman case. We have definitely missed out on this. We couldn't make it happen. And it was pretty embarrassing, actually, because it's a target who wanted to come here, was waiting and waiting to come to Milan. In the end, we just couldn't muster up the funds, which I'm sure there were restrictions placed on it by, Elliott and Redbird and Gazidis, and so Maldini couldn't do much. He really wanted him. You knew it was Maldini's top target from day one. He thought he'd pair well with Tomori, and I do agree, having somebody who's big, strong, physical, and good in the air would probably be the perfect complement to Tomori. Now, ideally though, I would have gone for Bremer. I think he is a better player in general. He fits our style better, and he's a little bit more of a composed version of the player that I want to see next to Tomori. So that would have been my ideal choice, but Juve swooped in. They beat Inter to him. I guess I'd rather him go to Juve than Inter, but I do believe that Milan missed a big opportunity there. However, he did end up going for a lot more than what he was going to go to Inter for, so in the end, it probably wasn't going to happen. So who are our targets now? We're looking at Tanganga from Tottenham, I believe. I am not a Tanganga fan. I feel like he's basically aggressive like Tomori, but not a very smart defender. From everything that I've seen from him, he's makes challenges at the wrong times. His positioning is not great. He's a decent defender, but I don't think that's worth it and what we need. That's not the guy you want to complement Tomori. Tomori has had a remarkable turnaround here at Milan, and I'm really, really positive on Tomori. I like him a ton. I love the heart he brings, the speed, the passion. This guy, if he stays in Milan, could be a player for years to come for us. And I do like how Kalulu pairs with him. Could there be a better complement for Tomori rather than Kalulu? Maybe. But they played very well together. And Kalulu is very composed, and I think you kind of want that next to Tomori. You want somebody who's more calm, more composed, because you don't want over-aggression. And sometimes when they get in trouble, Kalulu and Tomori together, is when there's over-aggression happening and you meet a very tricky player. They're fine with the fast players, but when there's a tricky player, they sometimes can get burned because they are maybe too aggressive and somebody gets beyond them. So those are the things that can happen with that current defensive duo, and it's only going to be exacerbated when you have a guy like Tanganga, who is not as composed a version of Kalulu basically, but he's more aggressive. Is he stronger physically? Does he have a bigger body on him? Yes. But, I mean, is he a better defender? I don't think at all. So it's not worth it. And the price is going to be somewhere around $20 million. I just don't think you need to waste that much money on somebody who I don't see a reason why he would start. If you're going to pay $20 million, the person should be a starter. Like if Botman was coming in for 30, he was going to be the starter. I get that. I didn't necessarily want him, as I said. I wanted Bremer more, but he would have been the starter. You don't pay $20 million for a backup. You just don't do that. So I don't think it's worth it for us at all. I'm not a Tanganga fan. The next one is going to be Indika. This is a recent link. I don't mind Indika as much. I actually think that he's a better player than Tanganga. I don't know his price exactly, so that's yet to be determined. However, it probably wouldn't come cheap, so it'll probably be a very similar 20 or so million. That way, once again, you're looking for a starter. Is he going to be better than Kalulu? I don't know. And so at this point, I think that we kind of pump the brakes on defense. I really wish we would not have let Romagnoli go. I think we should have offered him a nice deal and said, yes, you can compete for the starting spot, and if you're the same or doing better than Kalulu, you have it, fine, and give him a good salary. Now we're going to go out and spend a lot of money for somebody who we don't even know is going to improve our squad here. So I don't like it. I think it's to the point to where we should just get a more of a talented youngster to kind of play a backup role and see if they could kind of grow into the role. If we need just a stopgap signing, I'm not the biggest fan of an Acerbi signing, but I get it. If we just need to pay him a couple million just to kind of get somebody who at least we know is a decent defender and who's pretty solid just for this season, that's fine. And that's probably the way to go, because in my opinion, if you're not going to get a starter, you cannot go in between. I don't want to see us spending 10, 15, 20 million on any player at all. I want us either getting a starter who we know is going to pair well with Tomori, or just getting a backup who can kind of grow into the role and who has a lot of potential without a big price tag. I don't want to see Tanganga, who has a 20 million price tag. I'd rather us go for somebody like Viti or somebody like Lovato, who's younger, can build into it, or just give Gabbia some faith. So that's what I'd like to do right now. I think we just kind of keep it simple. Pick up either somebody like a youngster like a Viti or Lovato. If we don't do that, at the very end of the market, maybe pick up a Cherby just as a stopgap, and I think we'd be fine. For right back, there's not really any changes to be made. We've got Florenzi, who we've signed. I think it's a great signing. Everybody wanted him here. He's really grown into the squad very easily. He seems like he's already been a part of the squad for years. It's nice to have experience because we've already got Calabria, who before his injury last year was probably the best right back in Serie A, and if he gets back to that level, we've got our right back for the next decade. We also can play Kalulu there if needed. I think that Kalulu is a better center back by far, so I'd like to see him there, but if we need to, he can hop in for the right back position. Also, we have Florenzi, so we're covered on that side. Left back is not covered at all. I don't think we should have gotten rid of Kirkes, because I think he could have been somebody who was going to be an excellent backup. However, if he really wanted out and wanted to be the starter, which I don't really believe, then I get it. But we do need a left back to come over here. I think we made a mistake not picking up Cambiaso. I know he also went to Juventus, so I'm kind of jealous of two of Juventus's moves. I think Bremer and Cambiaso are great choices. I wish they were both at Milan. It would have been nice to see Cambiaso backing up a guy like Theo Hernandez. So we have to make some moves there. I'd like to see us pick up a youngster who can grow into the role, preferably an Italian youngster, because if we're not going to spend a lot, I'd rather keep it Italian. Plus, we need the numbers because we don't have a lot on our team anymore. It's just going to be pretty much Calabria and Tonali and Gabbia as a backup, and that's if he stays. So it's really low, and we need some extra because there are squad rules. Not only do I like seeing Italians on Milan, but we actually do need legally to keep it a certain number. So I would like to look for more of a younger Italian guy, probably sell off Ballatore. Ballatore has just been a disaster. He's not a good player, so I like to see him gone. You can just sell him for the same price you pretty much bought him for, 3.5. It's not going to be too hard to get. So that's what I'd like to see us do with the left back position. For midfield, this is where a lot of moving parts are because it depends on formation. Now, I personally think that if we don't get CDK, Charles De Ketelaere, then we should go with a 4-3-3. If we do get CDK, we can go with one of two formations. That would be either the classic one we're running right now, the 4-2-3-1, or a 4-3-1-2. Personally, I feel like eliminating the wingers is probably a better idea. You can run more like a two-striker core with having Leao branch out wide to the left side like he naturally likes to do, and keeping one striker more central. But I'll get into that towards the end, or maybe that's for another post here. For midfield, we got Tonali, we've got Bennacer. I really am high on Adli and Pobega. Specifically Adli, I think the guy's going to be super talented, and I feel like he's hungry. So is Pobega, and they bring different skills. Adli is a more technical player. He's also an engine, and he works harder in defense than I thought he would, so I'm really happy to see that. I feel like he's going to be an excellent player for the future. I think that was another inspired signing by Maldini and company. I just really like their work with the youth scouting. I think Adli is going to be excellent. Pobega, I feel like he's going to be like a Massimo Ambrosini for us. It's not like Ambrosini had any amazing skills, right? If you look at him, he's not an amazing dribbler, right? He's not an amazing passer, but he's good enough in all aspects. He works hard for the team, he bleeds for the shirt, and he's pretty strong physically, and he was great in the air at headers. Pobega has a similar frame, and I feel like he can do a similar duty for us. So if we go with the three-man midfield, I feel like you're going to highlight Pobega's strengths immensely as well as Adli's. So it doesn't matter who you run in the hole, like in front of the defense. You can put Bennacer there, you can put Tonali there. The other spot will go to Tonali for sure, right? And then the other central midfield spot, if we run a three-man, would either go to Adli or Pobega based on who we're playing against, or if we bring in somebody extra, which now we'll get into the transfer rumors. We've still got Renato Sanchez, and now we've had a new name enter the fray of Fratesi. I really like Renato Sanchez. I think that he'll be a great signing for us. For some reason, this one just seems like it's not going to happen. It seems like the whole Botman saga repeated over and over again, so I'm not too confident on us getting this done. Would I like him here? Yes. Has he had injuries? Yes. Am I that worried about it? Not really. I feel like he's been injury-free the past year and played really, really well. I like how agile he is. I love how mobile he is. And overall, I do see potential for him to become a great player. However, I do like this new link with Fratesi. Fratesi can play in a multitude of positions. He is very versatile, but I do believe that by far his best position would be as a box-to-box central mid who has a little bit more of a license to attack. So if you paired him with Tonali and Bennacer, I think that's kind of perfect. It really is shaping up that we should probably run a three-man midfield because you even had Rade Krunic, who fits better in a three-man midfield. So it really would give us a lot of depth. So imagine if we have Bennacer, Tonali, Adli, Pobega, Krunic, and then we either pick up Renato Sanchez or Fratesi. That gives us 6 midfielders to rotate for 3 spots. They fit a three-man midfield perfectly, and I truthfully think that's what we should switch to, with or without CDK. But my feeling is that Pioli will stick with what he likes to run right now and go from there, although I do not feel it fits our strength the best. But either way, I would be happy with either Sanchez or Fratesi. I just hope we don't end up not getting either, and then we wind up with this third or fourth rate choice that we didn't really want, and then we end up paying more for. Like, personally, I don't want to see us buy Jordan Veretout. I think he's a decent player. I haven't seen enough from him the past 2 years that he's been on Roma. It might even be 3 years now. And I just don't think that he's the type of guy that we need. Would he be decent? Sure. I just don't want to see us go down that route. Not anything against Veretout personally, but a signing like that, so a player like that, is not something I would like here. Lastly, we'll move into the attack, and there's a couple positions. You've got the wide positions, the attacking mid, plus the striking position. We'll start out wide. We've got Leao. We're working on his renewal. It seems like it's going to get a little bit difficult, and unfortunately, I just have a bad feeling that if we stay with these stingy management of Elliott and Redbird, we might lose Leao very quickly, and we might be talking about a sale. Think about it. No player have we really given a super high salary to. right? And I don't actually know if Leao deserves it yet. He's had only one good season. Truthfully, I'd say he doesn't deserve it yet. But this is the modern world, and people get paid for minimal work these days. It's true. You have one good season, you're a celebrity. You have a bunch of bad seasons and one good season, you're still a celebrity. It's very, very weird because Leao's been bad for the first 2.5 seasons of his career here, and he was excellent last season. So, should he get more money? Sure. Should he be the highest paid player on the team? No. But that may be what we have to do to keep him. Now, if it gets to the point like the Calcio saga where Leao is wanting a lot of money and Elliott/Redbird is not willing to pay that, then we need to sell him. And it's unfortunate because I would really like to keep him because I feel like he is finally growing into the player we all wanted him to be, and he's turning into a world-class talent. And we're probably going to lose him because I don't see this team budging on salaries. They seem to be really, really stingy. They're willing to lose a player who's worth 50, 60, 70 million over and over again just to make sure they don't pay an extra 1 to 2 million a year on a salary. That's crazy to me. That's awful in my opinion, but seems to be the way this management is going. As you can tell, I really dislike our management. All right, so what are we going to do with Leao? Hopefully we renew him, but if not, we're going to have to sell him. Our backup right now is going to be Rebic, and Rebic is actually finally showing that he's playing well, he's uninjured. I have my doubts though, because I feel like a couple weeks into the season he's going to get injured and we're going to be without Rebic again. I personally, even though I love this guy's grit, I love his grinta, I love players with fight in them because I feel like we lose a lot of that this day and age. A lot of players are very finesse based and they kind of cry when they go down a lot. There's a lot of diving. That's just the way of the game. Rebic is not that way, and I love that type of player. However, financially, is it smart to sell him? Probably. He's not getting any younger. He's injured a lot. He still has high value. If we need the money, that's a guy to sell. Secondarily, who else is a guy to sell? Salamakers. That's for our right side. He has been playing very poorly. He's going to be worth more than what we bought him for sure. I don't know if he's ever going to become a top talent. I just don't see it. There are glimpses, but I just don't see it. He's a great engine, a great backup, but if we get a good offer for him, I would also sell him. Last on the right wing, there's Junior Macias. I get why we re-signed him. I don't think it was necessarily worth it because all that money adds up, and with how stingy Elliott and Redbird are, that extra $3-4 million that we paid for him, I don't think was worth it. Now, I don't know if the overall fee was 5, and that's between the $2 million we paid out initially for his loan, and the rest was maybe $3 or so million to buy him. But still, if it was any more than $3 or $4 million to buy him out this time around, I don't think it's worth it. If the fee was under 5, I guess I can understand it, but he's also on the wrong side of 30, and while he did get some nice goals last year, I don't see him getting any better, nor do I see him being a starter. So he's once again just a backup. So I don't see the need to spend more money on 2 backups. We still need a starting right wing if this is the formation we're playing, the 4-2-3-1. And personally, if that's where we're going, Macias nor Salamakers are good enough to play starting right wing for AC Milan, who just won the Scudetto and are trying to challenge for Champions League. That's not good enough. So I'm not sure why we spent so much on backups, but it is what it is. Next is going to be the attacking midfield spot. We were looking at a bunch of different profiles for that initially. Now we've definitely honed in on Charles De Ketelaere. Our other option was Nicolo Zaniolo. Zaniolo is going to be wildly expensive. If he was more around 40 or 35, I think we would go for it. Charles De Ketelaere is going to be around that price. 30, 35, 40. It's seeming to increase. I know they initially said 30, but I guarantee you it's going to be closer to 35 plus, close to 40. So they would be a similar price. I like both of those profiles. I lean towards De Ketelaere because of his lack of injuries, but I would be happy with either at an attacking midfield role. I do see glimpses of Kaká in De Ketelaere. He doesn't have that raw pace that Kaká has, but he does have some similar style. Very smart, very calm, very composed. So it would be nice to see a very smart attacking mid back in the team. I hope we can close this one out because it really is a signing that we need. Plus, it would finally make a statement that we can make a legitimate signing because so far we've been failing at almost every turn. Last but not least is the striker department. We have brought in Divock Origi, and I'm not sure if anybody's listened to my last post about this, but I don't mind Origi at all. I think he's going to be a decent player. I just don't see why we would go for him over Andrea Bellotti. I'm not sure why we wanted to go for this profile over a proven striker who every single season scores 10 plus goals. I don't get it. I don't think he's going to be as good as people think he's going to be. They think he's going to light up Serie A. I've heard predictions of 15, 20 plus goals in Serie A this season. I don't think he's going to get anywhere near that, but that's just my guess. I think he might get somewhere between 6 and 10, and if he does that, I'd be okay with it. He was free. My thing is, if we're going to bring in Origi, we need to also bring in a starter. That cannot be our core of Origi plus Giroud. Why not bring in Belotti also? Ibrahimovic is going to play like 5 games this season. You can't even really count him as a striker that we have. We're loaning out Lazetic. We've got Colombo on loan too. So we just have Origi, Giroud, Ibrahimovic. I guess you can play Rebic up there if you need to, but you want a striker now. Why not get Belotti for free? He loves the club. He wants to be here. He's still in his prime years, even with a bad season last year. I mean, he had a bad season. He still scored double digits. Why would you pass that opportunity up? It makes no sense. Just bring in Belotti. You have Belotti and Origi for free. You got Giroud there. Now you don't even need Ibra, and then when he can play, it's a luxury. You're all set. So I think that's what we do, because we really don't have the funds I thought we were going to have. Everybody thought we're going to be at least maybe spending on 2 to 3 players this offseason. It's looking like we're going to spend on maybe 1. That's it. We're going to probably spend money on 1 player and then look for loans for the other. That's how cheap this team is getting now. Even with winning the Scudetto and having a new owner in place, that's all we're going to be doing. It's pretty sad. No fan is happy about this. If you are, I question what you actually like in this game. If you're that into money management, then why are you watching the game? Just become a club owner, go out and go search for a job in finance. I'm talking as a fan. I don't care about the billions of dollars that Elliott has. I don't care about the billions of dollars that Redbird has. I don't care what's financially smart for them. I don't care about their lives. They live on yachts and they do fancy things, okay? The average person does not live that life. Why do you care about their finances and what they're spending? They should spend for this club, right? That's how they should do it. I just really find problems with the people who think that they're playing Football Manager and playing FIFA. It's not your money. It's some rich billionaire's money. What do you care? There's nothing wrong with being a billionaire, but what do you care about them spending their own money? Who cares? They have the funds. Make them spend it if they want to actually be here. Otherwise, sell the damn team. I can't stand this type of management. Juve's spending. Inter even somehow is spending. You've got Roma picking up Dybala for free, which we should have done. I mean, the reason why we're not making these moves is because we're cheap. We don't want to pay the salaries. I mean, why did we not get Dybala? He's literally free, would have came here no problem, fits our system as an attacking midfielder very easily, or can play as a second striker if we change formations to a 4-3-1-2. It's such a no-brainer. I mean, his salary isn't wildly high. Would he have been the highest one on the team? I think it was between 6 and 7 mil. Yes, but it's okay. I mean, we should be able to afford one player like that on a high salary. If we can't, what are we doing as champions of Italy? It's really a crazy time here at Milan. And the frustration of fans is very noticeable and very legitimate. So I really would like to see us start doing a little bit more. I'm very bummed out about what we're in for, because now with the recent sale, there's no chance we're going to get new owners in the next few years. We're stuck with this group of people. And it's going to be hard for me to sit here and support Milan, because I support the philosophy. I support the club that I've supported literally for, 20 plus years now. And I'm sitting here watching a lot of the things that I used to root for Milan just go by the wayside and fall into the drain. And we're just hoping that Maldini can pull out a miracle and find some more cheap signings like Bennacer and work his magic with Tonali and Adli, and hoping he can do all this stuff again and again and again, while we're not even giving him any leeway to get a few players that he actually wants. It's crazy. The guy's been nothing but successful here. He's found, between him and Macias, they found Kalulu for cheap. They found Tomori on a steal deal. They found Theo Hernandez. They found Bennacer. They found Tonali. They brought in Giroud. They brought in Ibra. They brought in the entire team that we're pretty much playing with, barring 1 or 2 players that got us the Scudetto. Give the guy some faith. Give him money to find at least 2 quality signings that we can spend for, and then be frugal with the rest. We need to increase our salary budget because it's hindering us. It's stopping us from renewing guys like Leao. We're losing players for free, and it's causing us to look at our long-term future as a problem. We can't keep this model up. The only way I see this going, if Elliott and Redbird don't budge, is we become a team like Dortmund. We do very well, and then we sell our players. We do very well, then we sell our players. And we just keep staying at this decent to strong team, and we never actually can win anything. So I don't want to see that with Milan. I absolutely love this team and always have, but I'm starting to get very frustrated at what the long-term plans are, because now Redbird is giving us 0 signs of faith. So I'm going to wrap this up for the last few minutes with saying what I would do, I guess ideally, and what I would do now with knowing our really terrible budget. Ideally, I would have gotten Bremer for our backline. I would have also picked up Cambiaso for our backline as a backup to Theo Hernandez. We could have afforded it if we jumped on it early in the season, in the off season, before Juve was involved. We probably could have outbid Inter, who was bidding around 20, and said, hey, here's 30, take him, done. We were going to pay that for Botman anyways. Why not give it to Bremer? We lost a chance there. Plus, Bremer might become an Italian citizen and play for the Nazionale, meaning we'd actually be able to add an Italian to our team, which we need the numbers for. So that's what I would have done in an ideal situation. Now that we're at this category, I would pick up an Italian youngster for a left back who's cheap and who can grow to play behind Teo. I would then also pick up another youngster who's promising for center back to play backup, or as a very last option, if we couldn't find somebody decent, fine, sign a Cherby just to get us by this year. I think we can just get by this year. Next year we can probably combat the center back issue if Kalulu doesn't pan out. What if Kalulu keeps getting better this year? We don't even need a center back. So let's see what happens there. That's what I would do now with our new budget. For midfield, I say we either stay with Sanchez or Fratesi. That's all I want to see. We sign one of those two guys. I'm a happy guy. That's it. Simple. They shouldn't even be that expensive from what I'm seeing there. Attacking mid. Charles De Ketelaere, 100%. That's the guy. Close the deal. Get him. If you can't get him, we could consider Zaniolo. However, we're not paying 60. If Zaniolo is closer to 30 to 40, sure, go with Zaniolo then. But start with CDK first. That's what I want to see for our attacking midfield. Ideally, for the right wing, I would actually be picking up a guy like Domenico Berardi because he's a guaranteed goal scorer, which we have not had on the right side. Plus, he can take free kicks, good at assisting, very well with working with others, very creative player. Not very fast, but very creative. If we don't get him, my ideal signing actually would be Antony. I just like the guy. I like the way he plays. I feel like he's going to be a top talent in the future. I want to see him over any of the other players like Ziyech and stuff like that. I don't really want to see Ziyech here. I think the guy's not worth it. Plus, he's going to be on high wages. I would like to see Antony here. So that would be my ideal situation. What should we do right now? Honestly, it may not be a very popular opinion, but I wouldn't even play with the right wing. I would run a 4-3-1-2. I'd run a 3-man midfield, picking up either Sanchez or Fratesi. That we have a very nice, stable, stacked midfield with very versatile players, creative, mobile, everything you need in the midfield. You've got Charles De Ketelaere at attacking mid. If you can't get him, you go for Zaniolo. And then up front, you run a combination of Leao plus whichever striker we want. That could be Giroud, it could be Origi, it could be Belotti, which I think we should definitely go and buy Belotti for free. And that's all you need. You could even run Rebic there if you need to. We'd have a very stacked set there. Now I know that we'd have a lot of bonus players like Salamakers and Macias there if we ran this who don't really have a spot. That's okay. Brahim Diaz and Macias can also play attacking mid, so can Salamakers, but we should sell one or two of those players to fund a legitimate signing for us. If you sold off a player like Rebic, which I do like Rebic as I said earlier, or Salamakers, who I would sell before Rebic, you'd have a space cleared and you'd have some money to finally spend on one or two quality players, which is all we really need. That's what I would do, because you could have Leao drift to the left. If he's playing in a tandem 2, you could have him drift to the left, kind of play his left wing role, which he's pretty accustomed to, and then sometimes he could drift back up forward into more of that second striker role. Not really playing an actual striker role because I don't believe he's a good striker, but he could drift back to his home position and then come back up top when needed. You could definitely do that very easily, and it wouldn't really be too difficult to do. A 4-3-1-2 can also be very, very fluid because you can almost have a 4-3-3 where the attacking mid could drift out to the right sometimes. So if that's CDK, he's played there. He's played on the right wing, he's played on the left wing. He's very versatile. So he could start in the attacking mid, and if Leao shifts left, CDK shifts right. You kind of have a pseudo 4-3-3. It's a very fluid attacking motion, and with those creative players in there, I feel like you can make it work no problem. So that's what I would do. I would actually just eliminate that right wing problem altogether because I don't think we need to spend the money to invest in a good right wing right now if we're going to be this cheap. We clearly barely have the money to even afford CDK. One signing, that's it. Literally one signing we're struggling with doing. So how the heck are we going to do 2 or 3? We can't. I think we can probably finish the CDK signing. I think we can probably get either Sanchez or Fratesi. I hope it's one of those two. And that's probably going to be it. I would really hope we at least get Belotti. So I'll wrap up here with the signings that we should make with our limited budget. We've already made a lot of mistakes, a lot of players left, and there's players that we should have gotten who are on frees like Dybala. I even would have considered Bernardeschi to bring in for free. Yes, he's not great, but he would have been an upgrade of what we have, and he's free. Either way, who should we bring in now? We should bring in a youngster for left back, a youngster for center back, or a Cherby if we absolutely need to. Not my top choice, but he'll be there. We bring in Fatezzi or Sanchez from midfield. We bring in Belotti for sure because he's free. We bring in CDK. If we can't get him, we get Zaniolo if the price is right. And that's pretty much it. I think that would do it. That would be a very reasonable amount, and we're really only spending on 2 players there, CDK and a midfielder. So let me know what you guys think, if you agree, disagree, what your thoughts would be, and actually what you guys would think about a formation change to eliminate the whole right wing problem for us. Let me know your thoughts. Thank you for staying with me here. A bit of a longer post today, but I've been away for a while and wanted to kind of give a recap here. So I'll go into some of the formation things on my next post and see a couple options for us. But for right now, I wanted to give a little recap on the transfer mercato because it is moving. Hopefully things start to pick up and look better in the De Ketelaere negotiations. Keep my fingers crossed. Thank you for watching, everybody, and as always, Forza Milan.